Okay, we're going back together with this, and I got it in place, and it's on the pins like it's supposed to be. I'm starting to tighten up these valve cover bolts. So the spec on these is 48 inch-pounds. So I set up my torque wrench already at 48 inch-pounds, and so basically what you're doing is you're just getting on that bolt and then waiting to, okay, see, you hear that click? That's when it's reached its the torque spec that you dialed it in for. So you dial it in for whatever it is you're trying to get on the torque wrench itself. Once you've got that dialed in, then you just go around and do this. Now, when I do these, I try to do everything in like a spiral pattern. So I'll start in the center and work my way out, or I'm back and forth, crisscross like this. The point is, you don't want to tighten down one side and then have it over tightened and then the other side is loose, especially the bottom side. Like on this scenario, this would be the side that's most prone to leak. So you wouldn't want to tighten this top row first and then have this one down here potentially too loose and creating an oil leak because it was improperly tightened down. So again, I'm going to start here and work my way around like this in a spiral type pattern, and make sure that this thing is drawn down and positioned correctly with even pressure all the way around. All right, so I've got the valve cover back in place, and got all of these valve cover bolts properly torqued to the correct specs. So I'm comfortable with all of that at this point. Now, I decided, since I had it torn down this far, I was going to go ahead and replace the spark plugs and the coils on this bank. Now, whether you're in the process of doing a tune-up or you've got a misfire issue, whatever the scenario was, now is a good time to do that. So, as you can tell, when you put the intake plenum on, it covers up this bank. So these plugs and these coils are not easy to get to on this side. That side over there is obviously easy to get to because it's uncovered. It doesn't have any of this in the way. But these three, since they're exposed, I'm going to go ahead and take care of this now. So I chose a Bosch double iridium plug. I've already put those in. As it relates to plugs on engines like this, so the plug itself, the spark plug, is probably 7 inches, at least 6 or 7 inches deep in this hole right here. So they're quite a ways down in there. You need to make sure that when you're doing a job like this, that you have the correct tool for getting down in there and getting that out. Now, this particular one locks in place. Okay, so there's no chance of this socket coming off once this is locked into place. There's no chance of it coming off inside this hole. If you don't have one that locks in place and you drop a tool down in there, you could spend quite a bit of time fooling around trying to get this thing out. So it's much better off for you to spend a little bit of money to get the right tool, one that locks in place like this, so that you don't have any issues getting down in there and getting those spark plugs out. So once you've got the spark plugs in place, and you're ready to go back in with the coil. So this is the new coil that I got. So at any rate, you're gonna want to make sure that you put a little bit of this dielectric grease down in the hole here where the spark plug is going to ultimately end up. I squeezed a little too much in there, so from a demonstration standpoint, I failed. But at any rate, you want to get a little of the dielectric grease in there. Just make sure that the spark goes where it's supposed to go, and that there doesn't get a bunch of contaminants and stuff like that up in there. So at any rate, the spark plug is down in the hole. In goes the coil. Just gonna kind of feel it here. You'll know when it goes over the end of the spark plug, and then just kind of push it down into place. Then I'll come back and tighten these down, but it'll be the same process for all three of these. And again, I'm only doing this really from a convenience standpoint, since I've already got it torn down this far. Might as well go ahead and knock this out. You know, this engine's got 150,000 miles on it. And it's a good time to take care of that, to make sure that we don't have any issues going forward. All right, so I've got the valve cover back in place, and I'm working on putting the all of the rest of the pieces. Here, I've got all of the coil wires hooked back up. All of the sensors are all reconnected. The fuel injectors are connected. So I should be in pretty good shape from that standpoint. So I'm going to go ahead and put the intake manifold back in. I've been very careful throughout this whole process to make sure that I didn't get anything in this intake. But you know, if there's any possibility that you think that could be an issue, just make sure you cover it up, you know, like something like that. You know, some of these valves are open right now, so if you drop a bolt or a screw or something like that and it goes past the valve, it's in the cylinder. I mean, it's in the engine, and as soon as you crank it up, you're going to ruin the motor. So make sure you keep, you know, these ports closed off, and no possibility of dropping any screws or bolts or sockets or whatever down inside those tubes. It's very important to make sure you keep that area clean and clear. So with that, then I'm going to go ahead and start putting this intake manifold back on, and I will bring you up to speed when we get to that point. Okay, I've got this intake manifold pretty much started here, and I'm starting to get everything lined up and plugged back in. Same concept here as we had with the valve cover bolts. You want to make sure that you don't tighten up one side versus the other, and you know, I'm going to do them in the spiral pattern again, or crisscross. Again, the idea is to make sure that the component goes down level and not cockeyed, because one side was tighter than the other and it shouldn't have been. So that's the process here. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing installed, and then I'll update you. Okay, got most of the intake plenum put back together. On something you should probably note, you might be able to see that here, might have to zoom in a little bit, but right here it says that these bolts should be between 7 and 9 Newton meters, so or NM, which is Newton meters. So if you get your torque wrench out, you can see there's two scales on this one. One of them inch pounds down here at the bottom, Newton meters up here at the top. So about 8 Newton meters is close to 50 inch pounds. So that's pretty close to what we were doing when we were tightening the others up. So these have all been properly torqued to 8 Newton meters. And so this should be pretty much wrapped up. I'm going to go ahead and finish putting the finishing touches on this, and this is going to be pretty much a done deal here shortly. I'll be right back. All right, so I've got pretty much everything put back together. 95% there. I've got some other miscellaneous stuff I'm still working on, but it's pretty much done. But you can see that was the process for getting down and changing that front valve cover gasket. All in all, it wasn't that difficult. Couple hours, maybe 3 altogether, to totally disassemble, get down to the part where you need to make the replacement, put the new gasket on, and button it all back up. So not that difficult of a job to do. And there you go. That hopefully that will take care of my oil leak, and I won't have any issues going forward. Thanks for watching this episode.